Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the astrology predictions for the full moon that is happening in the sign of Libra on April 1st Eastern Standard Time. This full moon is one that is not going to be ignored because its ruler Venus is actually being squared by Pluto at this time. The full moon is also making a square to Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, which is exalted. So anything that we are ending or we are focusing on is really going to be expanded and also a little bit exaggerated. I feel like the most focus is going to be regarding relationships. There could be relationship truths that come to light, especially imbalances that can no longer be ignored. For some of us, we're going to feel this strong desire for peace, for fairness, and mutual respect. There might be situations that reach a climax in partnerships, whether they are romantic, business, or even friendships. But we're really going to be asked to evaluate where we give too much and where we need to hold back. Some boundaries will become necessary now to restore balance, and we're going to see clearly who aligns with us and who doesn't. I feel like this full moon is helping us release and let go of something that no longer serves us anymore because it is making room for something very significant that we might be starting around April 23rd and 2 weeks after that. In April, now we're going to have a new moon in the sign of Aries, and this new moon is going to also be accompanied by a stellium in the same house. We're going to have Mars, Saturn, Neptune, the moon, the sun, and also Mercury by the time of the new moon, indicating that we're going to start a massive, massive new beginning, a passionate one, a determined one in the area of our lives where we have Aries. But this full moon in Libra is helping us release something so that we can make space for this new version of ourselves. We're going to let go. We're going to maybe discover some secret. Maybe we're going to discover something significant and important that is going to shift our entire life perspective. And we're going to decide to maybe end something, complete something because it is done. It doesn't need to come with us anymore. And therefore, we're making space for this massive new beginning that we're going to have, especially around April 23rd and 2 weeks after that. As always, before you start listening to your sign, remember that I'm a Western astrologer and I follow tropical zodiac. It is advisable to listen to your rising sign, then your moon sign, and your sun sign to get a deeper understanding of what your entire situation could be. No matter what I talk about with your sign or about your sign, remember that you have a specific chart. So it is always going to be tailored to your own chart. This is just a general reading. If you want to show some support for my work, you can like, subscribe, hype this video, and share this with people that you think are going to benefit from this. Now, without further ado, let's start with the predictions for the 12 zodiac signs. Aries suns, moons, and risings. On April 1st, Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have a full moon in the sign of Libra, putting a lot of emphasis and a lot of focus in all of your relationships, whether they're romantic or business relationships. This full moon is going to be in a square to Jupiter, which is currently exalted in the sign of Cancer in your fourth house. The ruler of this full moon, Venus, is in a very strong position in the sign of Taurus in your second house, but it's also in a square to Pluto, which can indicate that this full moon will most likely be a little intense. For you as an Aries, there could be a relationship turning point. You may be defining a connection, or you may be having an important conversation, or you may simply be deciding to walk away from something that is imbalanced in your life. Maybe you're going to realize where you've been overcompromising or people pleasing other people in certain relationships. Again, this could be romantic ones, business ones, at work, any one-on-one relationships. You might have a big realization here. And some of you are going to decide to either fix this imbalance, but through a very intense conversation, or you might decide to simply let go because you don't feel like you are being valued for what you bring to the table and for who you are as a person. There could be some tension between your relationships and your family and home situation. It could be that maybe there are things happening at home, like maybe you need to relocate, to fix your house, to change, to rearrange your home environment, and therefore that is kind of affecting you in your relationship to other people. You may be a little pulled between prioritizing your own security versus showing up for someone else. There's definitely expansion and changes in your home environment here, and you might have like big family matters or living situations happening at the same time, but I feel like Jupiter is still bringing blessings in all of your fourth house matters. So some of you could be either expanding your home, or you could be remodeling it, making big changes at home. And again, you during this full moon, you are understanding that maybe you're not able to juggle between everything. So you kind of have to rearrange your entire life, especially your relationships, so that you can accommodate all the things that are happening at the same time in your life. There's definitely a desire here to evaluate your self worth and what you truly deserve in relationships. You may be receiving money. At the same time, you might get a raise or an opportunity to stabilize your finances because of Venus' presence in your second house. But that is going again to come from a need of confrontation, a need to discuss your finances and your self worth and how much you want to be valued for. For some of you, the full moon here can indicate secrets coming to the surface, especially in your relationship with a romantic partner or a business partner. And then for others of you, the full moon here can indicate that there is going to be maybe some sort of exposure of an open enemy, maybe some sort of discussion here that can be a little explosive emotionally, because Jupiter can make things a little bigger than they are. The energy of the full moon is going to be up to 2 weeks after the full moon, so it is going to be temporary, but I feel like it is really setting the stage for the stellium that we're gonna have in the sign of Aries in your first house. So I feel like here in the first 2 weeks of the month, you're really going to decide to either let go of a relationship or to fix it, like to improve it so that you can make room for the person that you're going to be becoming. Remember, we're gonna have a stellium in the first house. I've already posted a video for your sign for the predictions for April, because I feel like it's going to be such a significant month that I want to be here for you. Like, I want to produce as much content as I can to help you. But Aries, like, your life is not going to be the same after this month. So this full moon here is really giving you clarity about what you need to do in your relationships, whether it's business related, contracts, agreement, romantic relationships, so that you can make room for the person that you are becoming with that stellium that we're going to have during the new moon in your first house. This is what I have for you, my dear Aries. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Taurus suns, moons, and risings. We're going to have a full moon in the sign of Libra on April 1st, and this is putting highlight and emphasis in your sixth house matters. This full moon is going to be in a square to Jupiter, which is exalted in your third house. The ruler of this full moon, of course, is your planet Venus. So you're probably going to feel this full moon a lot. But Venus at the time of the full moon is going to be in a square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 10th house. So, my dear Taurians, this full moon here is indicating a turning point or completion involving your job, your workload, your work responsibilities, or simply your daily responsibilities. You may be finishing a project, you may be finishing a role, you may be changing roles, or you may be considering leaving a work situation. Some of you might realize that maybe your routine is out of balance and needs some sort of restructuring. You might develop increased awareness of your health, of your habits, of your diet, or simply your stress levels. Some of you are going to realize that burnout has become very obvious by now, and it is probably pushing you to rest or to set better boundaries. There might be some coworker dynamics that could come to a head, maybe some sort of conflict or resolution, or some sort of clarity regarding a work situation. I would advise for a lot of you, my dear Taurians, to kind of understand during this full moon how you need to adjust your daily routine, your daily responsibilities, because the full moon here can really indicate some sort of burnout and exhaustion. We're going to have a very powerful stellium very soon in this month, in the month of April, in your 12th house. And this could be really indicating that you might need to have some sort of closure, some sort of conclusion in your daily life, in your daily routine, so that you can make space for this new beginning in your 12th house matters. If you're going to feel inspired in the month of April to maybe work very hard behind the scenes towards a passion of yours, towards something that you want to become a leader on, something that you want to become a professional on, then you may need to change your daily responsibilities during the full moon. It is really helping you to become this better version of yourself, or this new version of yourself, by showing you where you need to let go, where you need to complete certain things, and what things you need to be changing. For others of you, the full moon here can indicate some sort of closure, maybe with an open enemy of yours, and it could be a little intense because of that square to Pluto, but there may be some major completion here, meaning that maybe you're going to change your roles, change your job, change your organization that you work at. Maybe that person is doing that, the other person is doing that. So there could be some big change with an open enemy here, indicating that they're gonna leave your life in the next 2 weeks after this full moon, and you're basically going to embrace this new version of yourself when we have the stellium in the sign of Aries, that you're not gonna have to deal with that kind of person or situation again. The sixth house is the house of your physical health, of your physical body as well. The full moon here can indicate what things are not working for you. Maybe you need to rest a little bit more. Maybe you need to spend more time in solitude. It could be that a lot of you Taurians have too many responsibilities at hand, meaning that you are serving a lot of people at the same time. Maybe your family, friends, neighbors, siblings. You are doing so many things for everybody, and so you feel some type of burnout. And the full moon here is indicating that there needs to be some sort of completion there. Be extra careful with your physical health, because of that square to Jupiter, it can indicate that maybe you might feel mentally very tired and overstimulated. So again, build some sort of discipline so that you can make room for the new beginning that you're going to be having when we have the new moon and the stellium in the sign of Aries, which will be during the entire month of April. I've already posted a video for this stellium, so please make sure to check that out. I've done that for your sign too. But you're going to have some powerful new beginning in like hidden from other people, in solitude. You may be working very hard towards something that you're very passionate about, so you have to make room for that. You have to make room for that version of yourself. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Gemini suns, moons, and risings. We're going to have a full moon in the sign of Libra on April 1st, Eastern Standard Time, in your 5th house, in a square to Jupiter in Cancer in your 2nd house. The ruler of this full moon, Venus, is going to be transiting your 12th house in Taurus in a very strong position, but is going to be in a square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 9th house. So how could this full moon manifest for a lot of you Geminis? There may be a culmination or turning point in your romantic life. You might be redefining a relationship, you might be ending something, or simply having a heart-centered realization about where your romantic situation or romantic life needs to be. There could be a situation involving dating, pleasure, or creativity that comes to full clarity. You might feel this strong desire for joy, for fun, for self-expression, but it can indicate that you might need to make some sort of big purchase regarding it. it could be that maybe you want to travel somewhere, or you want to go and have fun to a very expensive restaurant. So Jupiter in the second house can indicate that you need to spend a lot of money for that. So I would just be a little cautious, dear Geminis, during this full moon, to not maybe spend too much money that you might regret later, because Jupiter sometimes can exaggerate things. For others of you, there could be something happening, a culmination, an ending in a situation in one of your children's life, if you have children, that involves maybe you helping them financially and providing for them. It could be that that situation that is happening in their life is regarding some sort of travel situation. It could be regarding some legal matter, or some sort of power struggle that could be happening in the life of one of your children. If you don't have children, again, the fifth house is also the house of your business, of something that you create by yourself. And the full moon here can indicate that there's going to be some sort of ending and completion, but that requires some sort of financial expenditure. For others of you, it can indicate that maybe you decide to go public in your business, like to become more popular, to show yourself more. And as you do so, you're kind of going to come out from the shadows, or you're going to come out from the behind the scenes into something more visible. It could be that during this full moon, you might go out and have more fun because you want to feel more confident about yourself. You want to feel that you are whole and you are very valuable. And as you do so, you can also have a lot of fun here during this full moon. A lot of excitement, doing things that maybe you haven't done in a long time. For some of you, this full moon can also indicate some sort of closure, maybe with one of your friends or your social groups. Maybe you're either gonna leave a friendship situation, or you might enter a new one, and you're gonna do that through a lot of fun and a lot of excitement, like with some sort of transformation and some sort of change on the way how you view your friendship groups. You could have a lot of realization and clarity about your own self-worth that is tied to how you give and receive love, that is tied to how much you create and how you create. And as you do so, you're going to feel more confident and more excited about life. For some of you, Geminis, there could be a financial growth opportunity here that could arise, but it does require discipline and a grounded decision and a grounded approach. I'd be very careful with risky investments, gambling, stock market, things that maybe you don't know as much, like you feel like you're taking a huge risk on. Be extra careful with that, because a square to Jupiter can indicate that there is maybe over optimism. So lay low for a little bit, for a couple of weeks, and then you can see what you may be doing again regarding your risky investments. We're going to have a very powerful stellium in the sign of Aries in the month of April, just a few days after this full moon. So I feel like you're putting a lot of closure in things that don't serve you anymore regarding your fifth house matters. Maybe in the way how you have fun, maybe in the way how you interact in your romantic life, or how you interact with your children, because you're going to have this huge new beginning in your long-term goals and dreams for the future, in your social circles, in your spotlight, like the way how other people see you, in your financial world and financial wealth as well. We're going to have a very, very powerful stellium in the sign of Aries. So make sure to check out my April predictions for your sign. I've already posted a video to get a deeper understanding on how this energy is going to affect you. But again, the full moon here is helping you make room for that new beginning that you're going to have in your 11th house. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Cancer suns, moons, and risings. We're going to have a very significant moon in the sign of Libra happening on April 1st, Eastern Standard Time. This full moon is putting a lot of highlight in your fourth house matters, and it's going to also be in a square to Jupiter, which is exalted in your sign. The ruler of this full moon is Venus, which is currently transiting your 11th house in Taurus in a square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 8th house. For a lot of you Cancers, there may be a culmination or turning point regarding your home, your family, or your living situation. A lot of you might be moving, redecorating, or simply making an important decision about where and how you live. There could be family dynamics that come to a head, maybe some sort of resolution, some sort of conflict, or emotional clarity that you may be experiencing under this full moon. You may be confronting your emotional foundations and what truly makes you feel safe. There could be a chapter that closes related to your past, to your upbringing, to your childhood, or to your private life. You might feel this need to create more peace and balance in your home environment. A lot of you under this full moon are going to make space for a very important career breakthrough. In the month of April, we're going to have Mars entering your 10th house, making conjunctions for the first time to Neptune, to Saturn. We're also going to have a new moon in your 10th house. So I feel like a lot of you Cancers under this full moon, whether consciously or subconsciously, you are making space for a very important breakthrough and new beginning in your career, in the way how other people see you, in what you're known into the world, and the legacy that you want to be leaving behind. So this full moon here is indicating that a lot of you need to make some space, whether it is regarding your relationships with your family members, whether it is regarding a need to relocate and go somewhere else, or it could simply be related to having some sort of clarity with your own emotions, with your own emotional world, with your childhood conditioning, and you're maybe going to have some sort of closure there and put a stop to any feelings that you don't want to take with you anymore in this new version that you're going to be building when we have the new moon in the sign of Aries. For a lot of you, the full moon here can indicate that you are focused on a very important long-term goal that you have, a dream and a vision that you have for yourself, and you are working on yourself psychologically. You are deciding to do a lot of transformation psychologically, emotionally, in your home environment, in the places where you feel the safest. You are making room and adjusting things so that you can achieve something very important that you have been dreaming about, that you've been wanting to achieve for a very long time. So emotions can feel a little amplified here. You might react a little more strongly, or you might simply feel everything more deeply. You are a sensitive sign, so you are very aware of your emotions, but under this full moon, you might be expressing what is not working with you regarding your home dynamics and your home environment. There could be some sort of tension built between your personal needs and your identity and your family or home responsibilities. You may be wanting expansion and growth and freedom, but something maybe at home feels limiting. So that's why the full moon is putting a lot of spotlight in that and making you realize what needs to be changed, what needs to be adjusted, what needs to be ended, so that you can make room for the new beginning, for the new version of you, for the name and legacy that you want to be living in this lifetime, which will be happening again during the new moon that we're going to have in your 10th house just a few days later. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Leo suns, moons, and risings. We're going to have a significant full moon in the sign of Libra on April 1st, Eastern Standard Time, which is putting a lot of emphasis and highlight in your third house matters. This full moon is going to be in a square to Jupiter, which is exalted in Cancer in your 12th house. The ruler of this full moon is Venus, which is transiting your 10th house in Taurus in a square to Pluto in your 7th house. For a lot of you, my dear Leos, there's going to probably be a culmination or important realization involving communication, conversations, or information. You have maybe some sort of conversation that you've been wanting to have for a very long time, but that could be happening under this full moon, and it's definitely going to bring a lot of clarity or closure your way. There could be some sort of news, message, documents that are coming through that shift your entire perspective. For some of you, there's maybe a situation involving siblings, neighbors, or your local environment that reaches a turning point. You might be completing maybe a writing, a learning, a certification, a speaking, or learning project that definitely comes now into conclusion, and therefore you gain some sort of spotlight in your career and what other people know you for. You might really become aware around this full moon and the 2 weeks after of how you communicate and where balance is really needed in your life. For some of you, there could be hidden worries or fears or subconscious patterns that could intensify so that they are brought to the surface and you can kind of understand them and have some sort of closure and completion with them. If you feel drained under this energy, it is good to rest. It is good to spend time in solitude or simply to spend time by yourself so that you can process these feelings and to have some sort of reflection about your life and about anything that is not serving you psychologically, mentally anymore. For some of you, you might have some sort of trip locally under the full moon. You might go to a place that you have been before, but that is close to where you live, and you might feel like maybe you rested a lot over there, mentally, psychologically, or you had the time, or you're gonna have the time to maybe process any subconscious feelings, any negative feelings about your life, and kind of realize what has been holding you back. You might have this big understanding and realization during this trip that is going to bring a lot of release and letting go of things that don't serve you anymore mentally and psychologically. If you've been wanting to buy a vehicle, to buy a car, to buy any mean of transportation, then maybe you're going to decide to do that under this full moon. But maybe you're also going to do it kind of behind, I wouldn't say behind the scenes, but kind of hidden from other people. Like you wouldn't go out there and post it on social media. You'd probably like just buy a car and just keep it to yourself. If you've been studying hard for something like learning a skill, getting a certification, this full moon here can indicate that there is a completion, and maybe you are finally getting the certification, completing this entire project. But for some reason, it is again, you're going to keep it hidden, you're going to keep it private and kind of to yourself. If you are in the sales industry or any industry that deals with transactions, in any job or career that deals with communication, then there's some sort of completion here. Maybe you're going to complete a project, you're going to end it, and that brings a lot of satisfaction your way and a lot of relief. So you're not going to have to deal with that kind of project for a very long time. We're going to have a new moon and a stellium in the sign of Aries in this month in April. So I feel like this full moon is giving you the opportunity to have some sort of closure in your thinking patterns, maybe some sort of news that indicates like the end of something, so that you can make space for your belief systems to change. You can make space for a deeper understanding of life, a deeper understanding of your entire life direction. You might really also be letting go of something toxic, whether it's mentally, whether it's in your relationships with your siblings, neighbors, people that you deal with in your daily basis, so that you can open up the doors for better karma and very good karma actually in your life. That stellium that we're going to have in the sign of Aries is in a very beneficial house for you, and it can indicate that anything that you've done good in this lifetime or past lifetimes, it is coming back to you, but in a very good way. You're maybe going to have a lot of opportunities to travel as well when we have the new moon. So I feel like this completion here in your third house, again, is making room for this powerful new beginning that you're going to be having around the 23rd of April. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So, if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Virgo suns, moons, and risings. We're going to have a significant full moon in the sign of Libra on April 1st in your second house. This full moon is going to be in a square to Jupiter, which is currently exalted in the sign of Cancer in your 11th house. The full moon is putting here a lot of emphasis and attention in your finances, in your self worth, in your own self confidence. There's going to be a culmination here or turning point involving money, involving income, or financial stability. What I love about this full moon is that the ruler Venus is actually in a very strong state in your ninth house in Taurus, but it's still making a square to Pluto in Aquarius in your sixth house. So a lot of you again might have a lot of potential here to maybe complete some sort of project or some sort of role or a job that indicates that you might be needing to shift into something more empowering for you. So there's an ending here, maybe some sort of culmination. You might be receiving money, you might be finalizing a financial decision, or simply you might be reassessing your resources. Some of you might be realizing where you have been undervaluing yourselves or your own skills. There could be a shift here in your sense of self worth and what you're willing to accept when it comes to how other people treat you, how other people view you. For a lot of you, you might evaluate your spending habits and what truly holds value for you. This full moon indicates that there is an important situation happening around your possessions, your assets, or earnings that is now coming to full clarity. You're having a lot of focus in a long-term goal and dream that you have for the future because of that Jupiter's presence in the 11th house. But for some of you Virgos, it can indicate that in order to achieve a long-term goal that you have, maybe you have to spend some money or you have to make a major purchase. I would be a little careful with your finances because sometimes Jupiter can bring over optimism when it's in a square position. For some of you, it can indicate that you might be under the influence of your friends or networks, which could be having some sort of impact in your financial decisions, which could be for better or worse. It highly depends on your personal chart. But for most of you, the full moon here can indicate that maybe there's some important closure here or opportunity when it comes to your income that could really come through your connections, your networks, your friends as well. For some of you, maybe the full moon talks about some sort of promotion that is now finally coming to an end, to a culmination, especially if it's something you have been working on for a while. And even though you might not get this promotion exactly on the day of the full moon on April 1st, it could be that you're going to achieve that in the next 2 weeks after the full moon. For some of you Virgos, I feel like there's a strong need and desire to maybe let go of a job, of a career direction, because you're going to embrace something more transforming and more empowering for yourself, especially when we have the new moon in the sign of April around in the sign of Aries, around April 23. But the full moon here is indicating that you kind of need to let go of a financial situation that maybe is not aligning very well with your long-term goals and dreams that you have for the future. Again, the new moon that we're going to have and stellium, new moon and stellium that we're going to have in the sign of Aries, around April 23 is indicating that you're going to have some sort of new beginning regarding your finances. You might be changing your job, you might be changing your career, you might be embracing something that is more financially empowering to you, psychologically empowering to you. And then you might also have some big change and shift in your shared resources and finances that you have with somebody else. But in order to have this new powerful beginnings when it comes to your finances, you might need to let go of something that maybe is smaller. Maybe you have been over evaluating it, over exaggerating the value of this financial opportunity. So you kind of maybe need to let go of it, so that you can make room for something bigger. The full moon here can also indicate that you need to value yourself more. It can indicate that maybe your relationship with your friends, acquaintances, the people that know you, your networks, maybe you don't feel as valued, so you kind of need to let go of somebody or a group of people that is not aligning with where you want to be headed. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So, if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Libra suns, moons, and risings. There's going to be a powerful full moon in your sign on April 1st, and it is happening in a square to Jupiter, which is exalted in Cancer in your 10th house. The ruler of this full moon, of course, is your ruling planet Venus, which is transiting your 8th house, but in a square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 5th house. I feel like for a lot of you Libras, there's going to be a major personal culmination here. Maybe some sort of identity shift, some sort of breakthrough, or realization about who you are, who you want to become, and the entire direction that you want to be taking in your life. You're probably going to be stepping into a new version of yourself, and you may be releasing an old identity or way of being. You might experience increased visibility. People may notice you more, and it could be for better or worse because we do have the presence of squares here, but of course, it's all highly going to be dependent on your personal chart. Some of you might feel emotionally exposed. You may be seen or called to be authentic. Maybe there's also a relationship dynamic that reflects something back to you and about yourself. You might be prioritizing your needs, and you may be redefining how you show up in the world under this full moon, but you may be doing this in a very intense way and in a way that brings some sort of spotlight your way. A lot of you Libras might choose to be authentic, to be original, to be yourselves. You might be following your intuition about your own life direction, about your character and personality. But as you do so, it does catch the attention of other people. So let's say that you want to appear as a certain version of yourself at your job and at work, then this is maybe going to be seen by your coworkers, by your authority figures. You're going to catch the attention, the spotlight here, one way or another. For some of you, you might be letting go of a version of yourself because you realize that maybe that is affecting your one-on-one relationships with other people. And that is specifically true because we're going to have a very significant new moon and stellium in the sign of Aries in your 7th house in this month, in the month of April. But the new moon is going to be around April 23. So I feel like this full moon is like bringing some sort of closure in the way how you present yourself so that you can make room for a new relationship, a new collaboration, a new contract, a new agreement, whether it's at work, at your job, whether it's with your authority figures, whether it is in your romantic life, like with your romantic partner. It can be in different areas of your life, but you are really, really making room for something very empowering, very passionate that can change your life dramatically and fundamentally forever. This new moon in Aries that we're going to have very soon indicates that probably your life, my dear Libras, is not going to be the same anymore, especially regarding your relationships. So make space for that new energy to come in. This is what this full moon is calling you for. It is letting you understand that maybe you need to improve or let go of a version of yourself so that you can embrace this new relationship or this new career direction or this new collaboration, this new contract that you might be having very soon. Again, there could be things happening that kind of take the attention of others. It is a little visible because Jupiter is in your 10th house, in the most visible house of your chart, but this is really helping you have a very profound shift and new beginning in your relationships. If you feel like there's tension between your personal life and identity and your career or public image, again, that is telling you and showing you where you need to improve things. It's giving you clarity of what you might need to let go of. There could be a lot of career opportunities that are going to expand. I'm not going to lie. A lot of you might be able to step into a power position, an authority figure position. Like you might get a lot of spotlight. You might become a boss. You might become like a supervisor or somebody that is very important. But it can feel overwhelming or demanding at first. After we have the new moon, maybe things are going to get a little better, especially after Mars leaves the conjunction to Saturn that we're going to talk about when the time comes. But you are going to make a powerful decision between staying true to yourself versus meeting professional demands. And you're going to recognize that there's a need for visibility in your career, but it does require balance. So that's kind of going to be the key for you to be balanced, and you know very, very well how to do that as a Libra. So, you might overextend yourself to grow professionally, but you also have to manage your personal relationships as well. And again, this full moon is showing you what areas you need to let go of to have some sort of closure so that you can start fresh and have a new beginning in your relationship life. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So, if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Scorpio suns, moons, and risings. There's going to be a full moon in Libra on April 1st, Eastern Standard Time in your 12th house. And this one is going to be in a square to Jupiter, which is currently exalted in Cancer in your 9th house. The ruler of this full moon is Venus, which is transiting your 7th house in Taurus in a square to Pluto in your 4th house. So I feel like for a lot of you Scorpios, there's going to be a deep emotional release. With this full moon in your 12th house, you might be letting go of past pain, of patterns, or hidden attachments. For some of you, there could be something that was previously hidden, like a secret, that comes to light that brings clarity or closure. You may feel this need to even withdraw, to rest, to retreat, and to process things that are happening around you internally. There can be some sort of ending for some of you Scorpios that is happening behind the scenes, that is quietly closing a chapter without any external drama. During this time, you might have heightened intuition, dreams, or subconscious insights that are really helping you recognize any self sabotaging patterns and beginning to actually release them. There might be some sort of tension between your inner world and your beliefs, your faith, or entire life direction, but the full moon here indicates that you need to release something that is not serving you anymore. You might feel spiritually or emotionally overwhelmed while trying to find meaning in your life, trying to find the real direction that supports your growth. There could be legal matters or traveling, educational matters that are happening behind the scenes, but they feel maybe a little complicated or they may be draining your energy. So during this time, you're being called to kind of spend more time in solitude to be able to resolve these complex things that could be happening for you behind the scenes. For some of you, this full moon here can indicate that maybe you attract attention or opportunities in love or business partnerships, but again, that are happening behind the scenes. And for some of you, if you are already in a relationship, then maybe you're going to turn that relationship into something more serious, more defined, and more important. But again, you might be doing that kind of in private. You don't tell everybody about where your love life basically is. For some of you, with that square between Venus and Pluto, there could be some sort of intensity or power struggles with home or family dynamics that maybe are affecting your relationships. That the full moon here in the 12th house indicates that maybe you or the other person will let go of any power struggles, will let go of any unhealthy behavior, anything that you or them could be doing behind each other's backs. You might need to release that, or they are going to, one of you. And as you do so, you are making room for something healthier in your life, for something that feels more fulfilling, that feels more passionate and more excited about life. We're going to have a very powerful new moon in the sign of Aries on April 23, and also with stellium at the same time. So I feel like you're going to have a very powerful beginning, my dear Scorpios, in your daily routine, in your day-to-day life, even at your job, in your career. But that comes with letting go of something that is being done maybe in secret, of something that is being done behind someone's back. For others of you, it can indicate that maybe a secret needs to come to the surface so that you can have more clarity about your job, about your career, about your daily routines, about the people that you help on your day-to-day life. It could be that you need to let go of an addiction under this full moon for some of you Scorpios. Anything that you do excessively, maybe like scrolling or playing video games, or sugar addictions or pornography, like anything that is not serving you at your subconscious level, at your spiritual level, you're going to release and let go under this full moon. And again, that's maybe going to make you feel more empowered physically, in your mental health, in your physical health. You're probably going to have some sort of new journey very soon, around April 23, like 2 weeks after that, regarding your physical health. So the full moon here is basically releasing and letting go of things that don't serve you anymore so you can make room for that powerful new beginning. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Sagittarius suns, moons, and risings. We're going to have a very significant full moon in the sign of Libra on April 1st, which is happening in your 11th house. This full moon is going to be in a square to Jupiter, exalted in your 10th house. The ruler is Venus transiting your 6th house in Taurus in a very strong position, but in a square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 3rd house, and this is what makes things a little spicier. For a lot of you Sagittarians, there's going to be some sort of combination or turning point here involving your relationships with your friends, your social circles, or your immediate community. You might be outgrowing a friend group, or you might simply redefining your place within it. For some of you, maybe there's a long-term goal, dream, or aspiration that is going to come to fruition or shift direction. Some of you might gain clarity on who you truly align with versus who doesn't align with you. Maybe there's a friendship for some of you that may deepen, that may become official, or may come to an end. For some of you, there's still increased visibility here, maybe some sort of spotlight, especially in your organization that you work at, especially in your involvement in group settings, in your networks, or collaborations. The full moon here can also indicate maybe some tension, especially regarding shared finances, debts, mortgages, loans, or any financial entanglements that you have with other people. For some of you, the full moon can even indicate heightened emotional intensity, again, with a partner of yours that you have shared resources with, or it could be simply in your friendship groups. You might uncover here a secret, something that you did not know about, that brings the topics of trust, loyalty, and vulnerability into the surface. Some of you might feel overwhelmed maybe by obligations that are tied to other people, whether they are financial or emotional, and therefore this full moon here indicates that you need to let go of something that's not serving you anymore. There might be a situation involving investments, taxes, or shared resources that reaches a peak, and you might be understanding where you have maybe overextended yourselves for others, and there's a need here to learn to understand to set boundaries as well. The full moon here can also indicate maybe letting go of a goal that you had, of a vision that you had in the past, because that simply does not align where you want to be going. We're going to have also a very significant new moon a few days later on April 23 in Aries, in the opposite sign of Libra. And when we have this new moon here, we're also going to have a stellium. So this indicates that there's some sort of powerful new beginning in your fifth house, whether some of you are going to launch a business, maybe you're going to improve your relationships with your romantic partner, or maybe you're going to launch something creative, something that you have a big talent on, some artistic skill that you have, something that brings you into the spotlight. But in order to make room for this new beginning in your fifth house, you need to let go of something, an old goal that doesn't serve you anymore, that is not aligned with this new version of yourself that is going to be happening on April 23rd, and you're going to feel it like the 2 weeks after that as well. For some of you, maybe you're going to decide to launch a business very soon, so that's why you need to let go of a job. You might need to let go of an organization. For others of you, it could be that maybe you want to improve your relationship with one of your children if you have kids. Therefore, you need to let go of your friends, of your social groups, because maybe they are taking too much of your time or they are draining you emotionally. For others of you, it could be that you are letting go of a cause, of fighting for somebody else's dream, or fighting for an organization's goal, because now you want to make room for something that really means a lot to you in your heart, in your soul, something that you want to be pursuing that is more original, something that you want to even become a leader on, something that you want to show a lot of passion and determination on. So basically, this full moon is helping you release something that doesn't serve you in your goals and dreams for the future, in your organization where you work at, in your social groups, in your relationships to your network, in order to make room for something creative that you're going to probably be launching or starting at the time of the new moon. And again, you might start a new business, you might go out and develop your romantic life more, go on dates and go out there and have more fun. For others of you, you might decide to maybe focus on your family life, like you may be wanting to conceive a child, and you're going to start that process on April 23rd and onward. So that's why you might let go of maybe friends that does not align on the same kind of life situation as you. Again, there could also be some secrets coming to the surface for some of you, especially regarding your friends. But there is a need to maybe let go and complete something that is not aligned with where you are heading. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Capricorn suns, moons, and risings. There's going to be a significant full moon in the sign of Libra on April 1st Eastern Standard Time in your 10th house, in a square to Jupiter, which is exalted in Cancer, in your 7th house. The ruler of this full moon is Venus, and Venus is right now in your 5th house, making a square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 2nd house. For a lot of you Capricorns, this full moon talks a lot about career. There's a career culmination here, maybe your turning point even regarding your reputation, regarding your job, regarding your public life. You might be receiving very powerful recognition here, promotion, or visibility for your work and for the sacrifices that you have done at your job and in your career. For some of you Capricorns, though, you might decide to leave a job in the next 2 weeks after this full moon. You might decide to change direction or to step into a new professional role that makes you feel more original and more authentic, that makes you feel like you can balance your life between your home responsibilities and your job responsibilities. For some of you, there's maybe a situation here happening with a boss or authority figure or career path that comes to clarity. You might be even reflecting on whether your current path aligns with your long-term goals and dreams that you have for the future. People here are definitely noticing your actions and your decisions, so there's a lot of increased public attention, my dear Capricorns, so be aware of that. There is a lot of possibility here to catch the attention for something you might say or something that you might do, that can kind of make changes for you, like very, very important changes. There is a need for a balance between your career and your relationships or partnerships. Jupiter is in your seventh house, so Jupiter indicates that you have to also honor your relationships while you're juggling between your job responsibilities and home responsibilities. There could be, for some of you, maybe a partner that may need more from you while your career is demanding more attention. So there's a need to balance things. But I feel like for most of you, my dear Capricorns, you might let go of a role, of a name, of a brand that no longer aligns with you. You may be making more room for something more authentic that could be coming your way. Some of you maybe are gonna they're gonna leave an organization to do something from home, to start working from home, to start a project in the comfort of your home. Others of you might need to maybe relocate very soon due to a promotion at work, due to a spotlight you got at work, maybe a new role that is changing. There is a big shift here in your 10th house matters that is very, very visible and everybody else is seeing it. We're going to have another very, very significant new moon in the sign of Aries very soon on April 23rd. That is also involved in a stellium in your fourth house. So I feel like you're going to have new beginnings in your home environment. But the full moon that is happening right now, it is helping you maybe change your job or change your career or your roles, and that new moon that is in your fourth house is going to come with that, is going to adjust to that need of your career change. For others of you, it could be that you need to let go of a role so that you can make more space and more time for your family. Maybe some of you are going to have one of your children join you back in your home, or you're going to have maybe a baby soon, or others of you maybe are going to have a family member leaving your house very soon. So like this full moon in your 10th house is helping you understand whether your family, your career is aligning with your family demands, your career is aligning with your family responsibilities. For some of you, there's going to be a big opportunity to change your house, to relocate, to move, to change your city, your apartment, your country, to go and relocate somewhere else. And again, that is going to be seen by other people. You may need to announce it to others. And although that might not happen exactly on April 1st, of course, that could be happening very intensively 2 weeks after this new moon. But I feel like the entire month of April, most of the Capricorns have these powerful opportunities to relocate and to move somewhere else. For others of you, this full moon here in the 10th house can also talk about a closure when it comes to your brand, to your name, what other people have known you for so far, because you are making room for something new, especially something new that could be happening in your house, in your home, in your emotional world. So maybe you're going to let go of a public image to kind of focus more on your family relationships and dynamics. And if you're still very ambitious, maybe some of you are just going to start working from home, or build a business from home, or build some passive income from home, or increase your real estate, like multiply your real estate, do something with it, so that you can meet the demands of your family dynamics, but at the same time have a career and have a job. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Aquarius suns, moons, and risings. We're going to have a full moon in Libra on April 1st in your ninth house, and this is going to be in a square to Jupiter, which is exalted in your sixth house. The ruler of this full moon, Venus, is transiting your fourth house currently in Taurus, but in a square to Pluto in your first house. I feel like for a lot of you Aquarians, there's going to be a culmination or turning point revolving your belief systems, revolving your life direction. Here with a full moon, you might have a big realization about your entire life, about something that you were very passionate about before, something that you truly, truly believed in. You might be also making a major international trip here, international travel that really changes your entire life perspective. Some of you might have some sort of closure regarding being accepted to a higher education institution, or maybe the closing of an important project at your school, university, MBA, and any kind of educational institution. Some of you might simply be completing a course or certification, a long-term learning journey, so like this is the end of it. Or you might simply need to deal with legal matters, contracts, or international situations that need your attention at this time, but they're going to come to a closure, maybe not exactly on April 1st, but 2 weeks after this full moon. This one here can also indicate that for some of you, you might have some sort of closure with a mentor of yours, with a benefactor, somebody that has been supporting you for a very long time. And it could be because maybe that person is influenced by an open enemy that you may have, or it could be that maybe your work responsibilities are changing and shifting, and therefore your paths with this individual kind of split and like you take different directions. For some of you, you might really feel called to step outside your comfort zone and to expand your horizons, maybe to go and meet different people from different backgrounds that speak different languages that can really change your entire life perspective. You may outgrow old beliefs and adopt a more aligned philosophy about your life under this full moon, and it is coming from a place of heightened emotions. With Venus in your fourth house and the square to Pluto, I feel like there could be something emotional happening here, maybe a need to release something that is not serving you. And as you do that, your entire belief system is changing and shifting. The full moon in your ninth house can also indicate that maybe you're going to have some good karma being paid back to you, especially from the good deeds that you've done in this lifetime or past lifetimes. This is payout time. And it can very much be tied to maybe your job, to your career, to your relationships with your coworkers, or it could be tied to your physical health and physical body. For some of you, maybe you're going to have a deep understanding regarding your health, an aha moment here. Maybe you might understand what you need to do to improve your health, to feel better physically too. For some of you, my dear Aquarians, you might need to bring beauty to your space. You might be also moving or investing in your living environment under this full moon because you want to feel more at peace. You want to feel more balanced in your life. You want to feel like you can do your daily responsibilities with more enthusiasm and more responsibility and structure. We're going to have a new moon very soon in the sign of Aries, which is going to be in your third house. And that new moon there is also going to be accompanied by a powerful stellium in this sign. So it's going to indicate that there's some new beginning in your immediate environment with people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, with your neighbors, siblings, with anybody that you spend time with. So I feel like with this full moon in your ninth house, you need to release maybe some sort of belief system, maybe some sort of legal matter. You need to release maybe something that you are very passionate about and high on about, so that you can make room for this new beginning in your third house. Maybe some of you are going to kind of let go of this desire to travel and go abroad, especially with what's happening in the world right now. And as you do that, you're going to make room for maybe new trips that are going to be more local and closer to where you live. Some of you maybe are going to let go of this goal that you had regarding your higher education, and you're going to embrace during the new moon some certification or something that you can do faster, some skill that you can master faster. Again, there's going to be a lot of learning experiences for you during this full moon. And not only, it is going to be the entire month actually of April, Aquarians. But I feel like once you shift and change your entire belief system and how you view the world, you're going to definitely improve your day-to-day life. So Jupiter in your sixth house, it is helping you improve your daily routines, become more efficient in all of them. And I feel like this full moon is putting the spotlight in things that maybe you need to change your mind about, in beliefs that you maybe need to let go of so that you can make room for something that is more productive. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So, if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box. Pisces suns, moons, and risings. We have a full moon in the sign of Libra on April 1st, and for you, this is putting spotlight and attention in your 8th house. This full moon is in a square to Jupiter, your ruler, which is exalted in Cancer in your 5th house. The ruler of this full moon, Venus, is transiting Taurus, but in a square to Pluto in your 12th house. I feel like for a lot of you Pisces, you're going to let go of your self-sabotaging patterns under this full moon. You're going to understand what has been holding you back from your true potential. Under this full moon, you're going to release any traumas, any self-sabotaging patterns, any negative feelings, any negative thoughts about your own image. You're going to release and let go of these things because you're going to make move for more financial, you're going to make a room, for more financial abundance for yourselves. The full moon here can also indicate maybe some sort of payout that is coming your way from taxes, from other people's money, clients, customers, maybe some loan payment, or maybe some check is going to come to you. So there's some sort of spotlight here, some sort of closure regarding finances. If you've been wanting to get a mortgage, a loan, then this full moon can indicate the closure, the ending of it, the completion of this process. If you've been getting a loan for a business of yours, then you're going to definitely achieve that as well. For some of you, this can also indicate that there's maybe a situation involving control, attachment, or power dynamics that is coming to light because it is asking to be released. You might release emotional baggage, fears, and past attachments. For some of you, there might even be an intimate relationship that is going to deepen or that is going to reach a breaking point, meaning that you might let somebody go, especially if you're obsessed with them or you were obsessed with the intimacy that you two had with each other. The full moon here can also indicate that you are letting go of any psychological blockages because it is making room for more financial abundance. There's a lot of focus on your finances, my dear Pisces, the entire month of April. We're going to have a new moon very soon on April 23rd in the sign of Aries in your second house. And we not only have a new moon here, but we also have multiple planets. So we're going to have the stellium. And Mars is going to be here too, the ruler of your second house. So I feel like you are making room for a powerful financial new beginning, for a powerful new understanding of your own self-worth, of your personal values. But in order to make room for that new beginning, you need to let go of any self-sabotaging patterns during the full moon. Any relationships that are built on obsession or that are built on negative feelings, like even if you have any sort of fear or hate or negative feelings towards somebody else, you're going to decide to let go of that negative energy because it may be draining you in your soul, in your heart, and you might not have realized in the past. But this full moon will make you understand and realize that. For some of you, you're going to let go of any fears regarding enjoyment, excitement, having fun, spending more time enjoying life. You're going to release all those feelings. There's a lot of people that feel guilty when they spend like an hour doing nothing. And I'm one of those people. But under this full moon, if you're that kind of person, you kind of gonna come to peace with, it is okay to spend time doing nothing for a little bit. It is okay to let go of any inherited negative psychological patterns in your mind that have made you, or that have put blockages in letting you enjoy life and letting you get closer to people and letting you, be more excited about life in general. So under this full moon, again, you're excreting, you're letting go, you're releasing any negative subconscious patterns. For some of you, you're also going to have some culmination here in your intimate life. Maybe you're going to spend more time in your bedroom with your partner of yours. You're going to indulge into pleasure, especially with a square to Jupiter. Jupiter expands things. Maybe some of you are going to lock yourselves up for a couple of days and just spend time intimately with somebody else. So I feel like mostly though, for you Pisces, is going to be financial related. You're going to let go of some financial situation that is not serving you anymore to make more space for something new coming in your financial world. If any of these scenarios are already happening in your life, it is a confirmation that this full moon is actually activating something personal in your chart. But here's the thing, general readings can only go so far. Not everyone with your sign is going through the same exact situation. Your birth chart actually is the one that shows where this thing is happening for you, who it involves, and what's actually coming next. So if you want clarity on your specific situation, especially around love, decisions, or career during this full moon, you can always book a personal reading with me using the link in the description box.